Alrighty, everybody. Like I said, today we're going to be going over mean, median, mode, and range. Okay, so it's really important for you guys to know what each of those are. So yes, we are going to be going over the definition of them, right? But most importantly, we're going to be learning how to solve them and how it might look in a word problem concept. So, like I said, we are going over mean, median. Yes, that is a D. Mode and range. So, who here knows what the mean is? Well, I guess I shouldn't be asking that. I shouldn't be asking what is the mean. I guess I should be asking how to solve the mean. So would that be the problem? Well, yes. So the overall idea is, let's see if I could bring up a good example. Ooh. That's a bad one. That's a bad one. So, yeah, forget about that. You might be given a whole row of numbers. So we're talking about, let's say they give you this: 19, 13, 15, 25, and 18. I don't know, in a word problem, they might give you these row of numbers and give you a question like, Mr. Solano had when Mr. Solano was in college, he was turning in his homework and he was getting 19, 13, 15, 25, and 18 on all his worksheets out of 30, let's say, I don't know. And the question might be asking you, what is the mean of all of his grades that were returned back? Or they might say, what is the median, what is the mode, or what is the range? So when given a row of numbers, they could ask you any of these, and you must find it. So now you're asking yourself, well, what is the mean, median, mode, and range? Well, have you guys ever heard of average? What is the average of something? Come on in. What?
Closest to the answer, or
the
average number that the answer?
Yeah. So mean is average. So have you ever asked something like, what is the mean? They might rephrase it. They might say, what is the average? Both of them are the same thing. It's important that you know that both of them are the same thing. You find them the same way. So now, how do you find the mean / average? Well, when you're given your row of numbers, all you have to do is add all of them. You add it all, and then that total amount that you get, you then divide by the amount of numbers there are. So for instance, in this case, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? A total of 5 numbers. So all you got to do is add all of these up. And if you guys do this on the side on a piece of paper or whatever, what you end up getting is 90. So all of that equals 90. You then get that total number, and then you divide it by how many numbers were there? We said 5, right? So then you divide 90 by 5. And what do you get? What's 90 divided by 5? Well, you could do it on the side, right? Somewhere on your scratch paper. Do all that. How many times does 5 fit into 9? Leaving a leftover of, oops, that's not where it's supposed to go, right there. How many times does 5 go into 40?
9.
8.
8.
To get 40 exactly, and then a remainder of 0, right? So guess what? 18 is my average number. It's pretty much saying out of all of my grades that I got back, out of all my grades, the average or the mean out of all those numbers was 18. Do we all get that? Oh yeah, because you just came in, right? Pretty much what we're going over is mean, median, mode, and range, right? So let me erase all of these because we no longer need it. We're just going over mean for right now. I just gave an example. When you're given an example like this, you're given a row of numbers, just random numbers. Either they say something weird like, these are the scores of your practice quizzes given back to you, right? Or these are the amount of, I don't know, money you get each paycheck. You get 19 bucks every 2 weeks. And then next week, you get 13 bucks, right? I don't know. Whatever the case, a row of numbers. The question that might be given is, what is the mean or average, right? Or what is the median? What is the mode? What is the range? So we're going over right now what all of the, how do you solve mean, median, mode, and range? Now we just went over mean. We just went over mean. How do you solve the mean when given some numbers? Well, you add all of this up. You add the row of numbers up. In this case, this one came out to 90. And then you divide by the amount of numbers there are. In this case, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So then you get that 90 and then you divide it by 5.
How do you do that?
Ooh, don't fall in the trap.
Okay. So
Don't
you
fall
add
in
all
it.
of them up,
Yes.
and then you divide it by all the numbers.
By the amount of numbers there are. Yes. So in this case, 90 divided by 5, my average number that came out was 18. That's the average. Or mean, aka mean. That's the average or mean. Mean and average are the same thing. They're the same word. You find it the same way. They're just different words. So that's the mean / average. Add up all the numbers, divide by the set of numbers that's given. So now, what about the median? Does anyone know how to find the median? Does anyone know what the median is?
Median is middle.
Ooh, nice. Yes. Kind of, sort of, yes. Kind of, sort of, yes. So with median, what you must do first is rearrange the numbers, all right? So you have to literally rearrange all these numbers from lowest to greatest. So tell me, you guys, guide me. What's the lowest number here?
13.
Cool. What's the next lowest number? What's the next? Next. And the last one? Okay, that's step number 1 when solving the median. Now that you've done that, now you look at the middle number. What's the middle number? Well, those ones are gone, right? Those ones are gone. Look at, that's the middle number right there. So I got 2 here, 2 there. This is the middle number. 18. Wow, we're getting 18 as the majority of our answers. So 18 is the median. All right. So how do you solve the median? One step before that, though. What must you do first?
Adam?
No. Rearrange from lowest to greatest, then pick the middle number. Right? Now, a famous question that everyone always asks. A question that everyone always asks. Oops. What if... Oh, man. I forgot my 15, then it goes 18, then goes 19, then comes 25, right? What if you're given an extra number, right? And you do the whole cross technique like I just did. You end up winding down from the sides over here. You end up winding down towards your middle. What do we realize in this case? There's that, there's that, there's that, there's that. There's that, there's that. There's technically no middle number. If anything, there's 2 middle numbers, right? So this always trips up people, and they always say, what's my median? Well, it's simple. You get those 2 numbers, right? And now, what you do is you find the average. You find the mean of those 2 numbers. So, do we remember how to find the mean? How do we find the mean? Adding and then dividing by the amount of numbers, right? In this case, all I have is 18 and 19, right? So, 18 and 19. So, you find the mean of these. What's 18 plus 19? How many numbers are there? You then divide. How many times does 2 fit into 3? How many times does 2 fit into 17?
2 goes into 17.
2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16,
Yes.
18, yeah, no, 8. To create 16. With a remainder of 1. Do you remember what we do when we have a remainder of something?
Add a 0 down and make it a decimal after the 8.
Oh, yes. So we create our decimal. Oops. Create our 0. Bring it. In these cases, yes. How many times does 2 fit into 10? Creating 10. Oh, look at that 0. That's my answer. And if you notice, what's in the middle of 18 and 19? 18.5. Well, not just that physically. I mean, like, what number is in between 18 and 19? 18.5, right? Exactly right in half. Yeah. Yeah. 18 and 19, that's more logical. You could tell 0.5, 18.5. With bigger numbers, it's not so easy, right? So you must always find the mean of your 2 numbers, which is the same process. Add up the 2 middle numbers, divide by 2, and then you'll get that median.
So you add them up and then you divide it?
Yes.
You add 18 plus 19?
and then divide by 2, because there's only 2 numbers technically, right? So, recap. How do we find the median? How do we find the mean?
Add the two numbers.
Now we're going back to mean, the first one. The mean / average. If we remember,
All of the numbers.
add up all numbers that's given in whatever situation you're in,
And then divide.
add them all up, and then divide by the set of numbers, right? And now we went over median. How do we solve median? Well, we rearrange our numbers from lowest to greatest, then pick the middle number. If you have an even amount of numbers, so in this case, there was 6, which meant 3 here, 3 there, you'll have 2 middle numbers. You just got to find the mean of those numbers. So, now we move on. Now we move on to mode, and I'm going to add, actually I'll add something in a little bit. So what is mode? How do you find the mode? Well, that's easy. Mode, what does it rhyme with? Most. Most. The most. So pretty much that's what it is. The mode is the number that pops up the most. And that's the mode. But in this specific case, there is no mode. 19, 13, 15, 25, 18. There's not a duplicate of any of the numbers. So in this specific problem, there is no mode, right? But what if I were to add a couple of numbers?
You already have 15. You already have 19.
That's exactly what I'm going for. So now we have a new set of numbers, right? Now we have all of this. Tell me, what's the mode? Pretty much, spot the number that pops up the most.
19, 15.
Yeah. So you start here, 3. Is there any other 3s around?
No.
No, that's the only one. Is there another 19?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one. That happens to have 2. All right. 13, is there any other 13?
No.
Nope. It's only one 13, right? So far the 19 is winning. I should put it up here. The 19 is winning right now. It has 2. What about 15?
Yeah.
Cool. Is it more than 2 or is it still just 2?
Only 2.
So they're both at a tie right now. What about the 25? Is there any other 25?
There's only one.
What about the 18? Only one, right? So guess what? My modes, in this specific case, there's more than one. My answer is 19 and 15. You see that? So mode is the only one of these in which you could get more than just one answer, right? Because chances are they'll throw more of the same number in a row of numbers. Yes.
So most is most of the numbers, right?
Yes.
For mode?
For mode, yeah. Mode, you go along your row of numbers and you spot which one comes up the most. All right. In this case, 19 popped up twice and 15 popped up twice. So they both won. They're the modes. Simple? Cool. Now comes range. Do we know what range is?
Range. About.
Let me erase and go back to our original problem. So range. Range. How do you solve range? What is the range? The range is, oopsies.
Numbers closest to each other?
No, but good guess. It is, how do you solve it? What you do is you rearrange it from lowest to greatest, just like we did with the median, right? So you rearrange from lowest to greatest. Then what you do is you get the biggest number and the smallest number, and what you do is find the difference. Do we remember what difference means?
To subtract.
So this is what I mean. Here we have this, right? We got to do the same thing we did with the median. Find or rearrange from lowest to greatest. So what's my lowest number?
13.
What's my second lowest?
15.
What's my next number?
18.
And the next?
19.
And the next?
25.
Okay, so what is my lowest number?
13.
What's my biggest number?
25.
All you got to do is subtract the lowest number from the biggest number, from the bigger number. What's 25 minus 13? 5 minus 3 is 2. 2 minus 1 is? So my range in this specific problem right there is 12. I have to recheck that. 12.
Wait, what did you do?
You-
was writing it down.
Sorry, you rearranged from lowest to greatest,
And then you
you-
took the lowest number and
subtracted it from the bigger number.
from the big number?
Yeah, you pretty much found the difference. So once again, you got the lowest one, the biggest one, and you pretty much just subtracted to create 12. 12 is the range. This is the class in which everyone's taking the GED, right? Yeah. You too?
Yeah.
Okay. Mean, median, mode, and range are helpful for you guys with also with the social studies test and the science test, because they're going to be asking you stuff like this. They'll be giving you like a chart, like in social studies, they'll probably give you a chart with a list of presidents, right? And then be like, this is a chart of all the presidents' age. So they give you a chart with numbers of presidents' ages, their age, right? And then they say, what is the average president age, whatever, right? What is the average of all of previous presidents' ages? And you do this. You add up all their ages, you divide by the amount of presidents there were, and you found the average age. I don't know. Sounds about right. Majority of them are usually around the 50 range. But then they might say, what is the median? What is the mode? What is the range, right? It depends, but they do give you this in the social studies and in the science.
It's quantity.
Huh?
Value or quantity for a median.
So, recap. How do we find the mean?
We add up all the numbers and then divide it by the amount of numbers that are there.
Perfect. How do we find the median? You can't say anything else because you just gave me a mean. So somebody else, give me the median. How do you find the median?
You have to rearrange the number
Uh-huh.
and then you take it
We rearrange the number from what?
from the lowest to the bigger,
Yeah.
largest,
Lowest to the
and
biggest.
find the medium numbers
Yeah.
and divide them, add them and then divide them, right?
Yeah. Yep. So with median, if it's an odd amount of numbers, in this case, in this example, okay. To find the median, we must first arrange from lowest to greatest, right? And then just cross each one until you find the middle number. In case you end up getting two middle numbers, just find the mean of those two middle numbers. That's in case you don't have a perfect middle one. So, what about mode? What is a mode? Somebody else besides the two. Yes?
It's finding the same number.
Yeah.
Yes.
The number that pops up the most in the set of numbers that's given. All right, range. Besides the three people that already spoke. Somebody, give me, what is the range? No. Yes. Yes. You subtract the lowest number from the highest number, right? You pretty much find the difference. What's going to help you with range is by rearranging it from lowest to greatest. Because a lot of times if you don't rearrange, your eyes might play tricks on you. And if you just look at this right here, your eyes might play tricks on you and you might think the 15 is the lowest one, right? It happens. It's not a problem, right? And then you see the 25, you're like, oh, 15 is the lowest, 25 is the greatest, let me just subtract that, right? So rearranging from lowest to greatest first will help you guys in not making a mistake. Because you physically have to rearrange everything, and you notice 15 isn't the lowest, 13 is. So, mean, median, mode, and range. Range, a repeat of range. So, to find the range, you must rearrange from lowest to greatest. Why? Because it's helpful. Then, you subtract the smallest number from the biggest number, and that's your range. So I do got to teach you one last thing. We're all good with mean, median, mode, and range, how to solve each one, right? There's one last thing I got to teach you. Mean, aka average, right? That's the most common question. A lot of the times, majority of these questions are just asking for the average of a set of numbers, right? They're always asking for the mean, average, mean, it doesn't matter. But there is a trick that might be given, such as this one right here. Example. Corey, I don't like that. Mr. Solano has received the following grades this term. 75, 87, 90, 88, 79. Right? If he wishes to earn an 85 average is mean, right? What must he score on his final test? So this is a weird one, right? Before, we were given all numbers. Before, we were given 75, 87, 90, 88, 79, and some other number. And what we had to do was add all of those and then divide by the amount of numbers there were, right? In this case, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we got our total. We would divide by 6, and then we'd find the mean, right? In this case, they did it weird. In this case, they gave us a missing number, but they gave us the mean. Do you see that? So now the question is asking, what is the missing number?
How we know there is a missing number?
Because it said, if you look here, 75, 87, 90, 88, 70, if he wishes to earn an 85 average, what must he score on his final test? So pretty much it's saying so far he has this amount. And he has one more test to go. He has one final test to go. But he wants his final test to be a number that in result, his whole quarter, he has an average grade of 85. So he wants all of these numbers when added with each other and then divided by, how many did we say there were? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He wants to get an average of 85. So now, how do we find that missing number? This one's a little weird, a little complicated. Close. Close. Close, close, close. So, you got to work backwards. Here's the thing. We have a couple of numbers. What you have to do is at least add them, right? If you think about it, you guys, remember yesterday we went over formulas? To find the average of something, there is a formula, if you really think about it. How could we add all the numbers, divide by the amount of numbers? How do we make that into a formula? Well, think about it. Here, all it is all of these numbers added with each other. 75 plus 87 plus 90 plus 88 plus 79 plus question mark, right? All of that we are going to divide by, how much was it? 6, right? When you do that process, what are we going to get as an average? Well, it told us 85, right? So this is technically how it looks. This is technically how it looks. All of this top row added with each other, whatever the total is, divide by 6. The thing is, the only problem is that I don't know this, right? That's the question mark. That's the final exam that I'm trying to find. So, how do you solve this? Well, how about this? We add what we already know. Let's add it. What is 75 plus 87 plus 90 plus 88 plus 79? What does that become?
Are we supposed to add it?
Yeah. Add up what we already know. Well, okay, I could just tell you. It's fine. 419. 419, close. So, all of that has become, I'm going to switch to a blank slide, but I'll still rewrite it. All of that has become 419 plus my question mark plus 6 plus 85 equals 85, right? Do you guys see that? Are we all following along?
So you just made it into a formula?
Yes. So there's the same thing. All of this right here was added up to 419. Right? We're following here, right? We're following everything so far?
So 419 is the question mark?
No, it's 419 plus whatever it is we're trying to find. We're still trying to find the question mark.
Okay.
This is the steps on how to find that question mark, how to find that missing number. So, step number 1, add up your numbers that you already are given, right? Exactly in this method. Then what must you do? Well, kind of weird. And later on in the future, we're going to do some equations, which is going to be fun. But for right now, we're doing the basics. What you must do is, you see this 85 there? You multiply it by whatever the bottom number is. You pretty much get this 6 and you move it over there, erasing it from the bottom one. It erases there and it goes over here. So whatever your bottom number is, just erase it and throw it over there. And then you multiply it. So then you ask yourself, what's 85 times 6?
Which one?
Yeah. We're still using the same example up here. This one right there. We're trying to find his missing score. His missing question mark. The thing was, this is step number 2. Step number 1 was add up all the numbers that we got so far, right? We then get the bottom number and we throw it to the other side, multiplying it with the mean that we were given, right? So what's 85 times 6? $510, right? See how everything is getting smaller and smaller? We're going to get this question mark. We're going to solve it. Now there's one last step that we got to do. One last step we got to do. These are a 3-step problem. All we got to do now, in order to find this, well, ask yourself, 4 times 19 plus what number creates 510? Well, you could guess. You could try to be, okay, 419 plus 1 plus 2 plus 3, right? You keep on adding it until you reach 510, and then you get your number. Or you could just subtract, right? What's 510 minus 419? That's my missing number. Because 510 minus 419 equals 91. Which means my missing number is 91. There's 1 or 2 in the practice sheet today, but you guys need to be prepared for it. But so on Mr. Solano's final quiz, final test, I need to get a 91% in order to get a final grade, a final average grade of 85. So my final test must be 91. I need 91. Whoa, you can barely see that. This is a hard one, right? This is a super hard one. Pretty sure you guys are going to ask for help. But it's still cool. You guys got it. That was just a little question that might be given on the practice sheets today, but this is priority number 1. Knowing mean, medium, mode, and range. It's priority number 1. You guys ready for the practice sheet? Yes. Yes.